In June 2014, Phillips Distilling Company approached the Escape Pod with an interesting challenge: create a new brand of Irish whiskey from scratch. This was a document of the strategic thinking and design exploration that went into creating a new Irish whiskey that is designed to shake things up in its category. The whiskey is distilled at the famous Cooley Distillery in Louth, Ireland, and it's bottled here in the USA. Hellcat Maggie Irish Whiskey launches nationally on St. Patrick's Day 2015. We identified 3 creative territories we felt might yield interesting ideas for this new brand of Irish whiskey. Number 1. Irish America, specifically 1850s Gangs of New York era Irish America. It gives the brand a backstory as well as a unique design vibe and cultural context. 5 Pointer. 5 Points was a legendarily notorious area of New York City that was colonized and controlled by Irish immigrants in the mid-19th century. This was a setting for Scorsese's Gangs of New York that starred Daniel Day-Lewis. It was a lawless and crazy place filled with ne'er-do-wells and criminals. The fictitious Sergeant O'Toole was created to embody the tradition of Irish Americans working in American law enforcement. Hellcat Maggie was an actual historical figure in the 5 Points area. Tough as nails, she actually filed her teeth into points and wore sharp brass talons on her fingers, the better to shred her opponent's skin with in a fight. She was featured in the movie Gangs of New York. The Dead Rabbits was the name of the gang led by Daniel Day-Lewis in Gangs of New York. The Plug Uglies were a notorious 5 Points gang. They were the sworn enemies of the Dead Rabbit gang led by Bill the Butcher Poole, who was portrayed by Daniel Day-Lewis in Gangs of New York. A narrowback is a slightly derogatory Irish-American term. It refers to second-generation Irish Americans, and it implies that they are too soft to do the hard physical labour their ancestors did. A mucker is an Irish-American term that refers to someone who digs for a living. Number 2. Be the crazy one. Be the funky new brand that shakes up the category by being the cool alternative to the rather safe and boring existing brands. A puka is a legendary Irish mythological figure. It is a somewhat mischievous spirit that can take many physical forms. Aqua Vita Hibernia. The Gaelic for whiskey is Ishkabaha, which means water of life. The Latin for Ireland is Hibernia. Put it all together in Latin and you get Aqua Vita Hibernia, which is a very fancy way of saying Irish whiskey. Number 3. Out-Irish the Irish. Current category players are rather subdued and don't directly invoke the Emerald Isle in a visceral way. Maybe that's a weakness. Ireland equals fun drinking times in the minds of many American drinkers, much as New Orleans does. Gweedore is a beautiful coastal town in County Donegal. Gweedore is arguably the most musical place name in Ireland. It's fun to say and is a very cool place indeed. A notable feature of it is Eddie's Boat, a wooden fishing trawler that has been marooned on the beach for the last 40 years. 100% Irish. The idea here was to create a slightly punk whiskey that overtly challenges all other Irish whiskies to a fight over authenticity. And the winner was Hellcat Maggie. Who wouldn't want to do shots of Irish whiskey with a girl named Hellcat Maggie? We love the name and the label because it tells a story. There's something new and cool to be learned here. It's a portal to a vivid and exciting time and place in American history. Here's to Hellcat Maggie. Cheers.